Welcome to our very first podcast. Today we want to look a bit at the process of creating a calendar. Specifically from the initial idea for the calendar to the PDF that's sent to the printers. Burkhard is actually supposed to be here today too. Let's see if he shows up.
Good morning, dear Sophia.
Good morning, Burkhard.
You know, I have flexible working hours.
Yes.
And unlike you, I'm always a little bit late.
Yes, but it's nice of you to join us.
Yes, I think so too. I mean, I like being here too. Yes, you already said we want to look at With Crayon and Bible, which is the name of our children's coloring calendar. How does something like that actually start?
Okay.
Well, with a calendar, it's relatively simple. It just has to be published anew every year. But that doesn't stop us from reminding ourselves every year, for whom are we doing this? Who is the target group? How old are the children? And then we look at the first steps with this focus in mind. In this case, the first steps don't even happen in-house. Instead, Irmhild sends us the drawings, which we then look at. Usually around July or August, the drawings arrive, and we look at what Irmhild has done again this year. We're always smiling because the little details in the pictures are always, subtle irony.
Yes, it's also nice for children, right? Because they especially enjoy those hidden things that you can discover while coloring in a picture like that, right?
Exactly. And however, this is where we look very closely at the pictures with the recipients in mind, and we don't just think about German children. For example, we used to have little pigs in there. Fortunately, only during the development phase, not in print, because that's an absolute no-go in Muslim countries.
Mm-hmm. Yes, what else there is to say, especially regarding cultural differences. We also have the Africa calendar for With Crayon and Bible. Lydia makes the pictures, not Irmhild. Exactly, and yes, dark-skinned people, children, and just a bit more adapted to the culture so that the children in those countries can identify with it more than they might with a picture that you typically find in Germany or Europe.
Yes, for example, not all animals are known everywhere. That's where it starts. Once we've chosen the pictures, it's about finding suitable Bible verses that match the picture, but also have a message of their own if possible. Irmhild has often provided ideas that we are happy to take up, but then again, not always. So once we've decided on the Bible verses, it's time to write the short explanatory texts. Our girls in the editorial team do that as they're simply closer to the children than I am as a dignified grandpa who no longer has to raise them, but only spoil them. These texts are first read within the editorial office, proofread and adjusted and questioned, and also coordinated with our cooperation partner, our German cooperation partner, which operates as Paulus Verlag. Yeah, and then at some point the German texts are finished. Just German doesn't help us. Well, in this case, it helps the Paulus Verlag, but as is well known, we don't print German calendars ourselves, and that's why we have to translate them. The first step there is always the English, which we often pre-translate with the help of translation programs or ChatGPT. But it always goes to someone linguistically skilled, or if possible, a native speaker, who then looks at the text through a child's eyes, we hope, and translates them accordingly. That's already quite demanding because our translators aren't always young family mothers or fathers, but also older folks like ourselves. And nevertheless, I believe, based on the feedback we also receive, we actually manage quite well to ensure that the calendars are read by the target group, and thus the good news of the gospel is well conveyed.
Yes, that's not so easy at all, right? Because linguistically, it's really a different level you have to write at. If you compare it now with a good seed, for example, right?
Absolutely. So, and that is, I think, also the challenge for our translators who consistently don't do this as their main job, but in their free time and aren't trained professional translators either, to really put themselves in that position and read it through a child's eyes. Yes, the corrections go back and forth through many loops, consistently as a PDF file all over the world and back again. And at some point, no one has anything left to complain about, and then you come into play.
And I do still have something to complain about. So before the PDF files actually go to the printers, I take another look at them here in the office for several years now. We call that our internal approval process. I have a checklist for that where specific points are checked off. Are the legal details correct, like the article number and the Bible translation that should be listed, but also very important things for a calendar, like is the calendar grid even correct? Is this the calendar for 2027 now, or is it still the one from last year in the end? Are the texts consistent and so on? Yes, if I have any comments where I say, that's not quite right yet, then it goes back to the girls here in the office who then, well, check it and adjust it if necessary. If I don't find anything else, I approve them, and then they actually go out to the printers, who then handle the production.
Exactly. And we hardly even seem to notice much of that anymore, because the printing companies are exceptionally skilled and understand our specific needs perfectly. And we have come to know them very well too. If there are any questions, we're quick to respond, in this case in Dillenburg at Brockhaus or wherever else we're working with. Yes, and then, after about 2 months, the black box finally opens and the delivery slowly comes driving into the yard. But we'll tell you more about that later.
Exactly.